Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! I just thought it would be quite a fun theme for an episode to talk about Christmas and what Christmas means to us and what we like or dislike about this time of the year. Um, so maybe I will start. I've been giving it a little bit of thought. And one of the things I really like about Christmas time is that it's an end. Like it's like a very significant, like you know that the year has come to an end when Christmas is there, and then there's all the build up a whole week until New Year's, and you know that you're going into a new year, and you can start thinking about what the new year is going to mean to you. And I really enjoy that time of the year because of the end and the new beginning. So I don't know,
Okay.
that wasn't where I first thought about it. I mean, at first I thought about how fun it is to have a Christmas tree and twinkling lights and presents and all of that cool stuff. But yeah, I think when I give it a bit more thought, it's the end and the new beginning, which is a really cool thing about Christmas.
Okay. Well, for me, it's the most pleasant about that is it's summer holidays. It's a time to relax.
Yeah.
It is obviously a time to be festive and joyous. And as you say, for us in the southern hemisphere, it is slightly different because it's summer. It's beautiful to be outside, and all of those things that go with that holiday period.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the most fun about it.
Yes. So it's a bit of a change for me. This is my second winter Christmas. Um,
Hmm.
and before that, my family had a house by the sea that we used to go to every Christmas. We would always be close to the beach, at the sea, having braais or barbecues as our Christmas meals. And
Yes.
so yeah, it's a bit of a change, but I must say I like both in different ways. So I had when I was 18, I had my first white Christmas in Germany, and that was just so beautiful and festive. And Germany has all the Christmas markets, and it was something very different. And then I haven't had another winter Christmas until last year, um, and it's quite fun because all the songs make sense. Like the White
Yes.
Christmas makes sense, and they're talking about like sitting in front of the fire and keeping warm. And obviously, Christmas jumpers are a big thing here. And in South Africa, I never had a Christmas jumper because you would have died in December wearing a jumper. Um,
Yeah.
so I think the closest I got to Christmas clothes in South Africa were Christmas socks. um,
And a Christmas hat.
and a
I mean,
Christmas
that's
hat.
the
It's
but it
yeah,
is
it's a
you
different
you
vibe.
mm, you're right. I mean, in Europe, it is so different, and like you say, a lot of the tradition around it makes a lot more sense. Including the traditional Christmas lunch or dinner, the type of
A
food,
roast, yeah.
etc. Yeah, yeah. Um, so, and there is something about that the whole build up in terms of the Christmas markets, etc., the cold, the snow, etc., that I think make it a little bit more pleasant than having it in summer when you just want to be outside and the all the songs, like you mentioned, and traditions don't really make sense
Yeah.
in the weather that we're experiencing it. So I've never been a fan of this big Christmas lunch or dinner, etc. The more traditional one,
Yeah.
simply because of that. That's not the kind of food you should be eating in the middle of summer. Um, yeah. What else do you enjoy about Christmas? I mean, you skipped over the presents and the.
I'm not really one for presents. I get a little bit embarrassed when people buy me presents. I like feel like I've put them out because they had to obviously think about something that I might like. And
Mm.
um, yeah, so I don't, I'm not the biggest fan of opening presents, but I like watching people open presents. um, uh, so yeah, the presents are just a small part of it. Family has always been a really big part of Christmas for me. Like I said, we had kind of a shared seaside house with my grandparents, my aunt and uncle and cousins, and I've got quite a big family. So we always had, you know, 20 plus people sitting around for a Christmas meal and
Mm.
playing games and singing karaoke. And so it's always been quite like a bonding family time for us. Um, and then I also appreciated during COVID um, when we couldn't do the big Christmas thing, actually just having myself and my partner having a little quiet dinner at home.
Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, I think it's hard because then last year I had a big Christmas again in England with all my family, my aunts and uncles and cousins, and everyone came. We had 25 people at my sister's house. Um, and yeah, I appreciate both sides of it, the quiet Christmas and the busy family Christmas. I don't know. There's like there's something about the time of the year, like you say, it's like a holiday time of year, and everyone seems a bit more relaxed and a bit more festive, and it's interesting.
Did you experience, because obviously in Europe, I mean that's not the time of the year where people take extended holidays, etc. It's very much a public holiday, and then it's back to work,
Yeah,
etc. Um, did you experience that differently? The fact that it's not like an extended typical holiday period, because it feels to me like nobody works in South Africa between Christmas and New Year. You may
was
just as well shut
earlier
down the
than that. I
country.
think from the 16th of December public
Yeah,
holiday
yeah, yeah.
until kind of second, third week of January, you're not getting anything
Yes.
done. Yeah,
Yeah, you get less done, but I
yeah,
mean that week between Christmas and New Year is just, and I've fallen into that trap a couple of times myself, where I feel like, well, you know what, that is a quiet time of the year, and I have X, Y, and Z that I still want to attend to. I'll do it in that week between Christmas and New Year because it's quiet, and then I just cannot get myself to do anything
yeah.
productive. Did you find in your first European Christmas last year that is different?
Yeah. So I think from when I started working from home, which was because of COVID initially, but then I got a full time remote job. Um, Working through Christmas wasn't really a big deal anyway. So I was working for an international company before I moved from South Africa, and they were also not a Christian company, so Christmas wasn't a big deal at all. Um,
Okay.
and so I think already I was adjusted to the working through Christmas, and because of COVID, like I say, we were all working from home anyway, and it wasn't a big family thing. So you already it was already a different Christmas. Um, and then so one thing I think, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I've been living in the UK for a year and a half now, and I still kind of feel like I'm on holiday all the time, which is a really nice feeling. But
That's
I think it's
yeah.
because I moved to a seaside town, I'm close to the beach, and for me, that's always been a holiday thing. Even though I grew
Mm,
up in Cape Town, I was close to the sea. The time that I spent the most time in the sea and swimming was usually holiday times, Christmas, Easter,
yeah.
when we would go to our family home. Um, so I don't know. I've kind of had this holiday feeling for a year and a half, which is awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like I'm on holiday all the time.
How aware are you of that feeling? Is it just something that, because we're now talking about Christmas and holiday, etc., is it just something that, or that that kind of came to you now, or is it something that you think about often?
I think I think about it quite regularly. So I think it's been a combination of things that have kind of put me in this position, but there's the working from home full time and having quite flexible hours in the last couple of jobs that I've had, um, and having the freedom from a security point of view to go for walks and to walk down to the beach and to go for a swim when I feel like it. And
Yeah.
so I think there's been a combination of things that have given me that feeling. I'm I'm just generally more relaxed. I think I've spoken about that before. I'm more relaxed living here. I don't feel I've kind of always been quite an anxious person, and I don't have that same anxiety living here. Um so that's probably also just taken a weight off my shoulders and allowed me to feel like I'm on holiday all the time.
Yeah. Which is a great feeling to
Yeah,
have. I mean, it's
it is.
fantastic to have that feeling. Yeah.
So I have been aware of it.
Um,
Often when I go for walks around the neighborhood, I think to myself, how lucky am I that I have this life?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
yeah,
Um, it's really nice if you have something which is so easy and simple that you can appreciate and that you do appreciate. I think I think little things like that add to quality of life.
yeah,
Um, and where if you take somebody that kind of grew up in that same town and has been there all their life and don't realize what the privilege that they have.
yeah,
Um, they don't think about just going for a walk or for a swim or whatever in the same way that you do, and
yeah,
feels like you're actually better off,
yeah.
kind of
I
knowing what you've got. Yeah,
think perspective is always a really good thing to have, and it's easier to have it if you've experienced different environments and a different way of living. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you about Christmas. Do you have a favorite Christmas movie? Because that's quite a popular. Is there a movie you watch every year?
No, not at all. Um, I'm not big on Christmas at all.
Yeah. You
I
had
find.
promised me there was going to be a Father Christmas in the background in this recording.
Oh, actually, he never made it. Sorry, I was a little bit rushed and had a couple. Anyway, but no. So I don't have a favorite Christmas movie. Um, as I say, it's not something that really appeals to me.
Yeah.
The whole kind of scene around it. There are those elements that I really enjoy about it, which we spoke about in terms of the family, and it's time to spend. It's nice to spend time with family or friends or whatever. Um, but the actual thing around Christmas, the whole build up and the actual,
From September,
um,
October, Christmas music playing in shops.
yes. Um, I haven't had my birthday yet, and everyone's
Yeah.
anyway. So from that perspective, and therefore, I don't really have anything. I cannot stand all the Christmas music that suppose we just all kind of tired of
Michael
that.
Bublé.
Michael Bublé, Mariah Carey, there's a couple of those.
Yeah.
So, and also because they start with it so early, it feels like I'm a little bit worn out.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. The ads, you walk into a supermarket or a store and everything is just gets a bit um too much.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't have one either. I don't really watch movies at certain times of the year. So, one of our family members is all about like in October you only watch horror movies, and then in December you only watch Christmas movies. And I'm not like that. But we were with them for Christmas Eve last year, and we watched. Their tradition is to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol um,
Okay.
every year on Christmas Eve. So we watched the Muppets Christmas Carol, and that was fun. It's a festive,
Hmm.
fun thing to do together. it's quite funny, and there's sing along parts, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that was. I'm sure we'll do that again this year if we see them. That was another question. Was once you've got like combined families and different family traditions and cousins and aunts and wherever you are in the world, all the different people, it's trying to because everyone thinks it's their family holiday, and then trying to distribute yourself amongst all these different people can get a bit complicated.
Yeah.
So I had suggested maybe this year going away on Christmas Day for a few days, just to not feel obligated to anyone. So that is also a consideration. Going somewhere like Japan, where their Christmas tradition is to eat
Yes.
KFC on Christmas Day, or something very
Yes.
different. So that was something to think about. I had one other thing about Christmas that I was going to say, and I've gone blank.
So, so I've got a list of things here, and you'll
Yeah.
recognize them once I read them out.
Okay.
And I just thought to myself, well, how many of these things do I recognize around Christmas?
Yeah.
Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and
Yeah.
pride. Okay, so the seven deadly
Yeah.
sins. So, lust, okay, let's park that, although I'm sure that there's a hell of a lot of that going around. Gluttony,
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Indulgent.
greed, greed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just try to get away with any person below the age of, I don't know, 20 with only with only one gift.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so greed, sloth. I mean, that comes after the gluttony. You know, don't feel like doing anything. Wrath. I don't know, maybe those squabbles with the families and
Family.
the mother-in-laws and the etc.
Yeah.
About who's visiting, where, when, how. Envy. Um, Obviously, with this thing where the gifts. I mean, it just feels to me like we've lost the essence of or the spirit of what it
Yeah.
was all about. Um, so anyway, so if we leave out number one and number seven, lust and pride, it feels like we've got five of the seven deadly sins. And
I'm
really,
sure pride is there. Have you seen how people show off about their Christmas tree and
oh
their
my word, true. That is so true.
yeah.
And the American tradition with the Christmas card with the family dressed up,
Yeah.
and it's all about me, me, me. And yes, so pride. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
we've got seven out of seven,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the things that feel like, okay, cool. We've just moved so far away from
Yeah.
the actual tradition, the I don't know, what do you call it? The brotherhood of man, the be kind, all of these things is
Yeah.
kind of like a higher purpose or power or whatever to look at and so on. And it's all become just so commercial.
Yeah. Incredibly
Like
commercial.
there's there's a few minor traditions that distinguish Christmas from Halloween. But for the rest of it is you
Yeah.
better dress up and you better make your house look
Yeah.
pretty and so on and
That
so
was the
forth.
thing I
Yeah.
was gonna say. So the Christmas tree thing.
Mm,
In South Africa, it's not a big deal to have a real Christmas tree. I don't know if
yeah.
they're harder to come by, or I don't know what the reason is, but in South
Yeah.
Africa, it's very expected that you have a fake Christmas tree for Christmas.
Correct.
So we moved here, and we were told by the family members and friends here, you have to get a real Christmas tree. And so we got excited. We thought that's cool. We'll get a real Christmas tree. Got all of the things around it. So we got the stand, which has to be heavy duty to hold it up, and you have to water the tree every day, and all these things. We already did a bad thing. We ordered our Christmas tree online. We didn't go pick it out of a
Oh
out
my
of a Christmas
word.
tree park. But actually, the Christmas tree that we received last year was beautiful and it was in good condition. We got a 6 foot, I don't know, Nordic fir or something, and it was a really nice tree. It fell over 20 minutes after we finished putting our decorations on, and we had pine needles all over our living room, and pine needles all over the living room for the whole of some hardy dars. I haven't heard those in a while. um,
Sorry about that.
so pine needles, we had to vacuum almost every day because pine
Yeah.
needles just fall off the tree. And we had a rug, a Christmas rug that's I think still got pine needles in it, even though it's been cleaned and vacuumed many times since last Christmas. Um, and this year decided, okay, we've done the real tree thing. Let's get a fake tree.
Let's get a fake tree.
And the family members are not impressed. It's very not done here. It's very cheap
Mm.
to have a fake Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've decided it's cheaper. It means I pay once. I bought a nice one, one that
Yes.
looks quite authentic. So I paid a decent amount of money for it, but now I can use it for the next 10, 15 years and not have to buy a new tree every year. And I don't have to water a tree and I don't have to worry about the pine needles everywhere. So yeah, I'm very excited about my fake Christmas tree.
The yeah, I've wondered about how long does it take those trees to reach that size from little seedlings to 6 foot?
Yeah, I'm not
I mean,
sure.
so that must be 3, 4, 5 years,
Yeah.
and then you chop it down.
For a month in your house.
Well, that's another thing that bugs me is why does it have to be there for so long?
I don't mind
Um,
that. With my fake tree, I'll put it up early and I've also
mm,
started collecting. So this is one of my traditions that I've started is collecting Christmas decorations wherever I go traveling. So I've now from this year
oh,
I've
okay.
got my Norway, Poland, Ireland, Wales. I've got all my little Christmas decorations
Oh,
that are going to go on
nice.
my tree this year, which is nice.
Okay. Yeah, look, I kind of like the idea of when the Christmas tree goes up and the lights and the decorations and so on. Um, and it does add a little bit to the atmosphere, etc. Um, I'm not a big fan of it staying there until New Year
Yeah.
or into that first week of, I feel like when Christmas is done, okay, cool.
Pack
Now
it
it's
up.
time to
Boxing
take
Day.
pack it up. Boxing Day, it should come down, etc. Um, but and I know a lot of people use Boxing Day as the opportunity to get together with friends
Hmm.
if they spend Christmas with family, and that's always kind of nice,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, but yeah, definitely by New Year's Eve, the Christmas tree should be down, it should be packed away, and
Yeah.
if you have a real one, all your pine needles should be cleaned up, etc. Yeah,
So, how do you
yeah.
feel
So
about New Year's resolutions? Talking about New Year's.
oh no, that's absolute bullshit. That's I'm all for making decisions and
Yeah. But
resolutions
don't
and
wait
committing to
until.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 1st of January or the 2nd of January, because that's kind of like one of the first things is I make a New Year's resolution, but I'm only going to start doing it
Yeah.
when I'm back from holiday, or back after, so I'm only going to start on the 4th of Jan or whatever the case may be. No, no, no. I mean, and we know that people hardly ever stick to it.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent of kind of having goals and making commitments to yourself or to whoever else, but start it tomorrow. If you're
Yeah.
that convinced that that is something that must be done, do it tomorrow. Don't wait for, I don't know, in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
Uh,
2 months might never
yeah,
come. So, yeah.
correct. So what um, Yeah, I think that that is something that is also way overhyped. Uh, People make too much of it. The concept and the idea of the changing of the year, magically something is going to change
Yeah.
in you personally or in your life personally. I don't know. You've if you've been around enough Christmases, you'll know that that's bullshit. It's not
Yeah.
going to happen. Yeah. So the whole idea of um, the Santa Claus and the presents and the lying to the kids, and then there's that point where the kids know that you're lying to them,
Yeah.
but they kind of play along with it.
Well, because they get more
Um,
presents if they believe that Santa exists.
well, or not, they know exactly who to manipulate next
Yeah.
year for more presents or bigger presents or whatever the case may be. So, so I find that a little bit. Santa Claus, if I remember correctly, the actual, the figure as we know it, Santa Claus, the
Yeah.
dude with the white beard and the red outfit, is an invention of the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
Um, and here we are, all over the world.
Yeah.
Um, people have this image of this person connected, or so, so that whole fake part of it, um, that also bugs me a little bit about that.
But we're not Grinches here.
No, 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 we're not cringes here. As I
You,
say,
as we've mentioned, you have a Father Christmas that sits up in your house all
I
year
do.
round.
I yeah, he's been, yeah, he didn't even make it back to the storeroom. One of several. So I also have the fake tree, but it's a big ass tree. It's
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, it's probably 10 foot high. So it's probably close to 3 meters high.
Yeah.
And beautiful decorations and the fairy lights and all of that. And as I say, it really adds to kind of like the whole festive um, I, spirit and idea that this is that time of the year when we start relaxing and looking forward to recharging and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, but as I say, some of the concepts behind it and so on, I feel that we can move on and do better because we're not really sticking to the traditions, but we're hanging on to some of it that we enjoy and like.
Yeah.
How can we improve Christmas?
Um. Hmm. Try and stay away from the seven deadly sins.
We want peace and goodwill for all mankind.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what the spirit of Christmas is all about, and I think some of the Christmas movies do capture that. And A Christmas Carol, The Muppets A Christmas Carol, but I mean, just the story A Christmas Carol kind of encapsulates
Mm.
the whole spirit of Christmas is about giving and sharing and being with people you love and care about. And so maybe if we focus more on the spirit of Christmas and not on the commercialization of Christmas, then then we'll have a lovely Christmas.
I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that.
Well,
And,
Merry
and I
Christmas
don't.
to all.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's been a time where we needed more peace and
Goodwill to men.
goodwill and brotherhood
Yeah.
to everyone around the world.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas.